Good evening, and welcome to your Sunday night top 10 lists of the weird and wonderful paranormal. Still waiting for Taylor, so I just thought I'd start without her, quite frankly, because she's probably dealing with shitty bottoms, and that's just so other half. Right. One thing I'd like to say, I don't know if any of you were watching us on the Dark Mirror on Friday, and we were talking about the US disclosure. Full UFO and alien disclosure was supposed to have been yesterday, wasn't it? And we all said, Lynn's as well, Bolax. The US government will come up with some excuse as to why they can't do full disclosure. I know, look, I've scoured the internet, both in the good bits and the dark bits, and there's nothing anywhere about full disclosure. There is, however, a little thing saying it's been postponed till the 1st of June, I think it is. So, as per usual, the governments anywhere in the world, any government saying, oh, we're going to do this, that, and the other on this date, always take it with a pinch of salt. Because governments lie, I'm afraid, and they all say they're going to do this, that, and the other. Doesn't happen. So, full disclosure was supposed to have happened yesterday. Didn't happen. And we should have put a bet on that, shouldn't we? Should have had a disclosure pool. Didn't happen. And like I say, I scoured the internet and you'll find a little tiny piece saying that they postponed it to the 1st of June. And I wonder if by the 1st of June, they'll find another excuse to postpone it.
No, they don't want to share it.
Well, no, they've only got until, I think it's the 28th of June that they have to disclose it by. They have to by law, otherwise they're in the poo-poo themselves. Hi, Wayne. Hi, James. Hi, Maria. Yeah, James, as you said, we knew they wouldn't share. It's typical government, isn't it? It doesn't matter whether it's the US government or the British government. They all fucking lie and talk out of their bottoms. It'd be interesting to see, though, because they have to do it. I'm sure it's the 28th of June. They have to do it by the 28th of June. They haven't finished blacking out the important bits yet. Yeah, no, they haven't. So be interesting to see if they do it by that date. Because aren't they in... It's like impeachment, but it's not. I don't know US laws that well. But oh look, somebody's joined us. I'll wait for her to sit down. I should wait for it because all I can see is a belly button. And there she is. Nice of you to join us. Has he gone to sleep now? Yeah. Okay. So yeah. The forces that the powers that be, full disclosure, my ass. They'll just do disclosure when it's.
I like it the other way.
The other way.
Yeah.
What's that Wayne said? Apparently Bowden has forgotten that they released today. Yeah, more than likely. So I will keep. Finlius! I will keep
Asleep
talking
on
about
his back. Asleep on his back.
Nice thing of me, really. Look, stormtrooper. Yeah. Put me up. Hang on. To keep in vein with all the stuff, we've got me Star Wars. There you go. Oh. And now I'm too hot. So now I have to strip off. Oh dear. Right. So tonight we are going to do paranormal events witnessed by police, and if we've got
Do you guys mind if I just grab a drink?
I need to go for it.
Thank you.
Evening, Reg. Huh? Explain yourself, young man. Evening, Reg. I don't know. So, yeah. What Wayne and I said, and James did in the chat room on Friday, that there's no way the US government would come out with this. Oh, right. Okay. I can't see anybody else in here yet. I can't see anybody else's names. So if you're there, Reg, hiya. So yeah, we all called it, said they wouldn't do it, and sure enough, they didn't. But as I say, there is a little tiny bit in the internet, very small, nondescript bit that says it's been postponed until the 1st of June. And they have to disclose by the 28th of June. But I also read, I was reading about 3 or 4 reports earlier on today saying that the US forces have said that the majority of the stuff they've got to disclose makes for interesting reading and you can't give it a plausible explanation. So we will wait and see. Better? Better?
Yeah, this is messing up.
Okay. Well, yeah. So top 10 paranormal events witnessed by the police, or top 10 paranormal events linked to, I think it was mass tragedies. Which would you like? A or B? Police or tragedy?
Police, because that's the one that we said we'd read out last week.
Okay. Have you got it up, young lady?
I can't, I'm on my phone.
So I have to read all these out.
Well, I can ask Tanya if I can borrow her iPad. Give me a second.
It might be helpful. It might be helpful. You just can't get the staff these days. Jesus. What's that good little book titled Credible Witness, put together by ex-cop stories from other police guys around the Midlands? What is a good little book titled? All right, I'm completely lost with everybody now. Do you know, I've just realised, sitting here in this black t-shirt. Oh, hello over there. Hello. I've just realised, sitting here in this black t-shirt, if you darken the background, I'd look like Holly from Red Dwarf. I really would. Hang on. Hello. Hello.
Hello. Jenny.
Bit cold in here, isn't it? Yeah. Right. Okay. Are you? I'll start. So we will start with 10 paranormal events witnessed by police. So, and I don't mean just me mooning in the middle of Chard High Street in Somerset when I've been very drunk, because that's a paranormal event. Right. Yeah, number 10. Officer Carl Romero was spending a relatively quiet Sunday evening on duty at the Española police station in New Mexico in 2014. He was keeping an eye on several surveillance cameras installed around the place. Things were going well until he spotted something strange on one of the cameras pointing at the entrance hallway to the police station. Going basically doing at the cameras, he initially thought that the bright white blob he was looking at must be an insect until he spied the legs below it. He then realised he was looking at what he could only describe as a ghostly figure. And since the entrance hall to the police station is blocked off with a gate and secured with an alarm system, he knew it couldn't be a human figure that was showing up in the footage. When he reported what he saw to his superiors the next day, most of them believed him. Some even came forward with their own scary experiences, saying that they often heard strange, unexplained noises in the building and had experienced weird sightings in the lobby as well, a bit like the weird and strange noises we can hear coming from Taylor. Romero played his story to Co-op TV, saying that he believes in ghosts and thinks that the ghostly figure he saw may have something to do with the unsolved murders that have taken place in the area over the years. What do you say, Taylor?
Oh, it's really interesting. Thank you. Oh, she said hello.
Hello.
Dad said hi. She said bye.
Bye. So what do you think? Bye.
Sorry, I didn't mean to be rude. Don't want to interrupt. Hello.
It's all right. Don't worry. Hiya. You all right?
What's it called?
Good, you?
Not too bad. Not too bad. Just been mooching about, waiting for this long-haired hippie person here.
What was it called? What's the site called?
Do you know what? You just can't get the stuff. Right. I'm going to send you a message on Facebook Messenger, Taylor.
Okay.
You know, we changed the time for you twice. I kind of
Yes.
thought you'd be ready. Right. Look at your Facebook Messenger. There are 2 links I sent you.
Okay.
Bye, enjoy.
Will do. Thank you. That was Tanya Sheldon's mum. Taylor's other half mum. So soon to be mother-in-law.
Because the signal keeps going, I think it's too far away.
Credible Witness is the book title about paranormal accounts put by police officers in Midlands and London. Oh, right. Cheers for that, mate. That might be worth looking into.
Can you still see me?
Yes, we can still see you.
Okay, cool. I'm just loading
Don't you
it
look
now.
like me, you poor cow. Have you frozen?
Yeah,
I think
well,
you've frozen.
I have to. I had to click on the link. I had to click on the link.
That's all right. That's. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. Taylor's just either having a stroke or she's frozen. I'm not sure which.
I'm not sure which either, to be honest.
Okay, and she's talking about moving her lips as well. So, what do you make of
Definitely.
that first story?
I liked it.
So, what did you think it could be credible? It could be real. What did you think?
Sure, why not?
You got no idea, have you?
I'm sorry, I had to sort this out. I didn't. I'll read it now while you're speaking.
Dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. What are you guys out there in watching land? What do you think? You lot watching this? Credible? Yes? No? I mean, it is New Mexico, and to be fair, New Mexico and beyond, as you go further down south, they're more open towards paranormal events than they are in like North America. So
Just reading it now.
you're just reading it now.
Yeah.
Dear, oh dear, oh dear. You can hear the cogs going round and round and round, can't you? That's all right, mate. You go for it. Taylor missed it as well, so don't worry. You ready?
Uh-huh.
Click, click. You got there? You up to speed?
It's mad because it's like I don't have dyslexia. Yeah, I got up to speed. I'm not really sure about that one.
I think if I remember rightly about this particular one, it was on TV. It made national TV. I'm sure it did.
It did.
And I'm sure it was on like a couple of paranormal programs as well. But the actual video to it, I'm sure it got disproved a couple of years later. Sure it did. It's not something I was convinced with. Anyway, let's go on with number 9. Do you want to read it or shall I read it?
I've just put some coat on, cold.
You're putting your coat on?
I'm in the conservatory.
And conservatoire. Would you like to read number 9 for everybody, please?
Conservatoire. Yes, this is called Soul Collector. Lieutenant Frank Mara, now retired, was one of the police officers tasked with sifting through the rubble of the World Trade Center towers in September 2001. It was only 2013, while conducting interviews for a 9/11 related book called Hallowed Ground, that he remembered encountering something paranormal during his long hours of work at the site. One of the detectives who were also being interviewed mentioned about hearing a ghostly tale of an old Red Cross worker.
Yes.
That appeared to some of the officers while they were working. The woman tried to serve them coffee and sandwiches, as was the Red Cross duty during World War II. Upon hearing the detective talk about this, Frank Mara, remembered seeing a black woman dressed in a Red Cross uniform appearing several times while he worked. She held a tray of sandwiches and disappeared every time he strained to get a better look. Several police officers who were also stationed at the site after the attacks claimed to have seen large shadows and black masses among the debris. After seeing a medium about his experiences and
Hearing?
the video under this, hang on, sorry, that's really distracting, about his experiences and hearing that he may have witnessed a soul collector guiding spirits to the hereafter. Mara truly believed that this is what he saw.
So what do you reckon then after 9/11? Do you know what? there's actually been lots of sightings down throughout history, especially after battles. That's how the legends of the Valkyrie came about and everything. But the First World War, Second World War, and the Crimea War, there was lots of tale of these battle angels who appeared and were ushering off the spirits who'd been killed in those particular battles to the next world, or never, wherever it was they were going. I think there could be definitely something there, and I think I've heard stories from other people who work for him. I'm sure it was on that TV program with William Shatner in it. What's that called? That William Shatner one? What in the what in the
It's
world
just like
is that?
ghost stories or something
What's
like
that at the window? What is? Oh, I can't remember. It's flipping cool. I watch it all the time, and I can't remember the damn name of
Well,
it.
they had that cat in the old people's home, and then when you knew someone was going to die, because it would just sit on their bed.
That's right. Yeah. That program.
Is this light too much?
It would be if I was sat there, because it go ding and blind people. Just tilt it round a bit. Ick a bit more. There you go. So, you guys in the chat room, what do you make of it? Do you reckon there are these battle angels or whatever you want to call them? I believe so. Don't see why it wouldn't be. And yes, as Arnie says, I'll be back. There's lots of accounts of them, especially, like I say, Crimea, First and Second World War, of these ladies appearing and taking these poor guys off to the great beyond. So, let's go on to number 8. Oh, I think we all know about this one. The Enfield Podcast. There was even a movie brought out. Was it last year or the year before about it? I'm like a lot of paranormal investigators. I'm on the fence about this one.
There's a video of it of the house catching fire.
Yeah. No. I've seen the photos of them in mid-flight and being thrown across the room. They had a bed here and a bed there, and needs to get thrown between the two. In 1977, an unassuming house in Enfield made the news in a big way. It wasn't because of a crime or missing child. Instead, what is that?
The video, it just played with sound.
Peggy Hodgson claimed that her house had been infiltrated by an evil entity. Talking of entities, have you ever seen the film Entity? Ooh! That's supposed to be based on true story as well. Hodgson claimed that her daughter Janet told her that her brother's beds were shaking and vibrating, which, to be fair, coming from a teenager's bedroom, wouldn't surprise me. The next evening, Hodgson heard a loud noise coming from the children's bedroom, and upon investigating, she saw a chest of drawers moving by itself. She and the children were unable to move it back to its original place. In addition to all this, there was a strange knocking throughout the house, and Janet seemed to be able to levitate above her bed. Those are the photographs that have been taken of her above her bed, but it looks just like she was bouncing on it, and a mid-jump. To me, that's what it looked like. The case eventually drew the attention of famed paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren. There was a lot of talk and accusations at the time, with many people believing that Hodgson and her children made the whole story up. However, at the same time these arguments and conversations about the validity of the Enfield hauntings were taking place, W.P. Carolyn Heaps signed an affidavit confirming that she had witnessed a paranormal event at Hodgson's home after being called out to help the family. W.P. What's that? What's the W.P.? Must be something religious.
Paranormal.
No, I think W.P.
Do you want to Google it?
Weenie Pee-Pee? I don't know. Yeah, go on then. I think it's something to do with the church. I think.
How do you work an iPad?
You go on Safari. Is it Safari the internet for that? Yeah, Safari's the internet. Looks like a compass.
Yeah.
Got it?
Yeah.
You lot in the chat room tonight, you're not helping, are you? What's a WP? Weak prolapse?
Well played.
No, that's not right. WP. Yeah. She signed an affidavit confirming she witnessed a paranormal event at their home after being called out to help family. Heaps confirmed in her statement that she saw a chair hovering just off the floor before it moved a little over a metre on its own. Afterwards, the police left the house, stating that they could not assist the family since there was no perpetrator breaking the law. Whether true or not, the events of the Enfield home were featured in the hit horror movie The Conjuring 2, which also features a scene where the police officer witnesses the chair moving on its own.
I would like to say that each
Yes.
of the Conjuring movies just got worse and worse.
They did. I've seen the first two.
They should have stopped at 1.
I've seen a lot of the photographs and I've read a lot of the reports from the Enfield haunting, and it does seem to be split 50-50, that half believe it was a genuine thing and half believe it was fake, but there was also a little bit that believed that the eldest daughter had weird spidey powers because she was just turning into a teenager. So
It scared me. It shook the door and I was like, Obi's not out there.
who scared you? No, it's the Sheldon. Hello.
Hello.
So what do you make? What do you make of
Love
it?
you.
Leafy yellow.
Oh yeah, you're right. I'm looking at the photos.
The Enfield haunting.
It looks like she's just jumping. Like,
Doesn't it? I don't know if you guys in the chat room, you may have either seen the film or seen a lot to do with this, but some of the police reports, they said that whilst they didn't witness the things happening, they saw like the aftermath or the end result of whatever falling down. They didn't see it take off, but they saw the end result. I'm not convinced. Genuinely not convinced. I think there might be something to be said about perhaps poltergeist activity centering around the girl. But hi guys from Worlds Apart Paranormal. Hello, Danny Stevenson from Worlds Apart Paranormal, and welcome to the Rearview Mirror,
hello.
which is the little brother to the the Dark Mirror radio show. Do you know what? Can't get me words out today. So yeah, the Enfield haunting. I'll sit on the fence with that one. I think it's either or. Damned if you do, damned if you don't with that one. Don't know. Taylorius Maylorius, youngest daughter of mine, would you like to read out about the Capitol Theatre haunting?
I can sure give it a go.
You sure give it a go.
So,
Just smashing the place
Capitol
up. Ignore
Theatre
me. Carry
haunting.
on. I said I'm just smashing the place up. Ignore me. Carry on.
Okay. Sheriff's Deputy Dave Mumphrey was a complete skeptic when it came to the paranormal. This is until he worked security in the Capitol Theatre in Salt Lake City in 2012. Murphy was a guest on the sci-fi TV program Paranormal Witness, in which he detailed exactly what he and other officers had experienced during their time there at the theatre. Murphy rubbished all claims of the paranormal until he himself saw dark shadows moving through walls one night. Then doors started to slam shut on their own, and no one else was in the theatre. Next to Murphy, he heard spectral voices and music, and eventually the spectre itself appeared. I thought I saw something. Appeared in the middle of the stage. On one occasion, Murphy even saw a woman dressed in clothing dating back to the early 1900s. Yeah, sorry. He claimed he had seen her walk right past him in the control room where he worked. Murphy also went on to say that eventually the shadows he saw the first time round wanted him out of the building and physically attacked him. Blair Fuller, the administrative officer of the Salt Lake City County Center for the Arts, also experienced the paranormal ongoings in the building for himself. In in the form of an elevator opening by itself and file doors opening and closing. Fuller believes that the main culprit haunting the theatre is a ghost of a 17-year-old usher who died in a fire in the theatre in 1947.
What do you make of that?
So that can, if it's an old theatre like they say it is, and there was a fire and someone did die, I don't see why not.
I don't think, again, it's another one I've seen on TV. I don't think it's residual. I think it's played on a loop, like a recording. I don't think it's necessarily intelligent, that one, but from what I've seen of it, it's... You ever heard of the stone tape theory? Stone tape theory is where a big event will happen where somebody dies or people die, etc., 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 and the energy gets expelled from that, gets sucked into the base, the bedrock, and that, and then every now and again it will get played. The event will be played like on a loop. I think it's that. Sorry. Like
how it gets trapped in limestone.
Yeah, exactly that. Limestone, sandstone, anything with it's got a quartz base in it. The more quartzy, the better, because it stores lots of energy. I think it's something like that.
Speaking of crystals, so you know my birthstone is opal. And I was like, oh, who wants opal?
Some opals are beautiful.
Black. There's geese going over, sorry. Black opal is like the world's most expensive crystal. It's not crystal, rock. Stone.
There's an opal that was found recently, and I can't remember what name it was. But is it the one that looks like a galaxy? Looking at it, and it looks like a galaxy full of stars.
It's not the most expensive, but it's.
So anyway, I reckon it's go down to Salt Lake City, and it's like the stone tape.
Take me down to Salt Lake City.
Grass is green and girls are pretty. And I kept the lyrics clean.
That's
peaceful, isn't it? Peaceful, isn't it? Yeah, I like that. I normally sing a totally different version of that, so I kept it clean. Just for you guys. Anyway, where were we?
Crop circles. Father, you're frozen. Or am I frozen?
You're frozen.
Or were you frozen?
You're out of sync.
Oh.
Just 1 minute. Could you possibly ask youngest to come off everything, please? Just 1 second. We appear to have somebody small playing on the Xbox and streaming. Just 1 minute.
I'll start this. So, in at number 6, the Silbury Hill Beings. An unnamed off-duty police sergeant was driving along the road near Silbury Hill in July 2009 when he saw what looked like 3 forensic officers dressed in white overalls standing in a field and staring at something on the ground. Stopping to investigate, he noticed that all 3 of the figures he was seeing were over 2 meters or 6 feet tall and had blonde hair. While approaching them, he also heard what sounded like static electricity reverberating
Three of the figures he was seeing were over
through the field.
Oh yeah, yes. Carry on.
When the officers noticed him, they took to their heels and sprinted out of sight, faster than any human would be able to. According to the sergeant, the 3 beings were inspecting a crop circle that had appeared in a field a few days earlier. After experiencing further paranormal activity, the sergeant decides to contact UFO experts, which led to crop circle researchers Andrew Russell and Colin Andrews. Oh, that's funny. If they got married, his name would be Andrew Andrews.
That's like
Investigating the
Scottish
incident on behalf of the terrified officer. The Waltshire police station had no comment on the sighting, stating that it was a personal matter because the sergeant was off duty at the time of the incident. Russell and Andrews, however, are convinced that the policeman saw something out of this world.
Again, that's one that
I'm just going to message Becky to make sure she's okay, because she was trying to call.
I'll
leave you on the phone.
Oh, what a lovely view. Up both nostrils. Yummy. Yeah. Again, that's another one that I've read up on and seen quite a few videos about. I do think he saw something, but I don't know if it's necessarily paranormal, but from what I remember, his viewpoint, there was a little hillock, and these people legged it over the hillock, so to all intents and purposes, it looked like they went boing and vanished. But focus camera, thank you. I do think there is something there, and he did see something, but whether it was aliens or whether it was just incredibly fast people, I don't know. But there was definitely something there, and it was all to do with the crop circle. What do you make of crop circles anyway, young Padawan?
I used to make crop circles when I was younger.
When we lived in Somerset?
Yeah.
Did you used to get a piece of wood and go up and make them?
And he's awake. Yeah, I did. I used to put some thick string on a piece of wood and then just stomp crop circles. I'm sorry, there's some family drama just going on behind the scenes, so I'm really sorry if I seem a bit distant. I just need to go and check on this. I'll message you about it, Dad.
She's not really with it tonight, is she? She's not her usual self. She seems to be. Have you been smoking anything, young lady? I'll tell you what, she doesn't smoke.
I was going to say.
She only smokes occasionally.
No.
She
I don't smoke at all.
I think the majority of crop circles should be changed to crap circles, but I think there is a small percentage that could be real. That could be made by other things, other neighbours from elsewhere. But I do think majority of them are. I tell you, I'm going to go and get my wellies and I get my piece of wood, my bit string. We'll get those silly newsmen down here. We'll make a fortune selling ice creams to the locals. You know? But I do think there's the odd couple that may have something in it. Anyway.
I must apologize again. I'm very sorry. Dad, you need to turn your Facebook down.
Turn my Facebook down.
Get rid of it.
My Facebook's not even. Facebook's not on. There's no noise coming from it.
Turn the volume down on your laptop or something because I can just hear myself.
Is that better?
Hello?
Is that better?
Yeah.
Right.
Sorry, I was just speaking to see if I could hear it.
Okay, right. Crop circles. What do you make? Yay or nay, or some of them, or all of them, or a couple of them?
I think that maybe a couple of them were made and then people were like, ooh, how about this?
I think there's the odd couple that may possibly be real. And I think each year there may be some that are real, because if you are from somewhere else and you're in a big ass ship, you've got to find somewhere that's big enough to take a big ass ship. So you're going to get some. But I do think the majority of them are man-made. But I think there's the odd couple, 2 or 3 that are like, ooh, you know? What about you guys out there? Come on, I know there's people still watching, whether you're on YouTube, whether you're here on Facebook. Let us know what you think. Chuck questions at us, fire questions at us. You can leave them on our Facebook wall and we'll answer them on the next show.
Yeah, James, I agree. I do like police reports as well because, well, you're going to look like a numpty if...
No, he's right.
You're in that high of a job to like be protecting the public, and then you're like, oh, guess what, guys?
Hey, Wayne, I'll tell you something. I'm gonna tell you guys out there, and there's only a very, very small handful of people know this. Don't think I'm cracked up or anything. One of the things that got me started in the paranormal was when I was about 6 or 7 years old. The house we lived in ended up getting haunted by an evil spirit. You know about this, don't you? The house next door, the old lady died in it, and everything was fine until a guy up the road, a farmer, bought it, and he stripped it out and stripped it down to its foundations. When the foundations came up, all hell broke loose. I don't remember too much about it. I can remember having a guitar floating down the stairs after me and hitting me. I remember my mum being hit in the head with a plate. All the windows kept smashing, and eventually the place set on fire, and we had to move because otherwise we probably would have been injured. But that's what originally got me into the paranormal, was things like that. And apparently, since the house has been redone and the foundations have gone back down, the day the foundations were straightened out and put back, it all stopped. So make of that what you will. But that's what got me into the paranormal, and it's not really something I like to talk about too much. So doubt if you'll ever hear me talk about it again. But that's how I first got started. I've had a couple of people ask me that question. So there you go. That's why I started. Anyway, oh, did I just see Wayne in there? I did see Wayne in there. Have you seen the prank Richard Branson pulled in 1989 with a hot air balloon? No, I haven't. I'll have to look that up later. Was that to do with crop circles? One thing James just said here, crop circles some are just intricate and large and symmetrical, and they're very interesting. Some of them are stupidly intricate. And when they're tested,
You said it wrong.
Intricate. Yeah, why couldn't I say intricate? And when the ground's been tested, it's radioactive. It's got little balls of stuff in the actual ground itself. Those ones I find fascinating because they appear overnight, and unless you've got a team of 50, 60 people doing that in the space of about 4 or 5 hours under the cover of darkness, there's no way you'd get that done. But yeah, some of them are very interesting, and they still are appearing to this day. So some are so detailed and appearing in half an hour, exactly impossible for a team of people to do. So it's those ones that is something there. But it's like I said, I think the majority of them that appear overnight are let's drum a little bit of tourism around here. We'll do crop circle, all right? But those really interesting.
I seem a bit distracted because I feel bad that I'm distracted. But from what I sent you, do you understand why I'm distracted?
Haven't even can't because I'm doing this. I'll have a look at it later.
Look on the because it will explain a lot.
Some people are hard to believe. Some are hard to believe are man-made because of how complicated. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You get the ones that, as I said, unless you had a team of 30, 40, 50 people working full slog from sundown to sun up, you wouldn't be able to do some of those. And as Wayne said, some of them appear in the space of half hour, couple of hours. So I do reckon some of the crop circles, they're either real or there's something interdimensional or there's some weird shit going on. But majority of them...
All I see is Prince Philip, so...
Sorry?
But I don't see Wayne, all I see is Prince Philip.
He's put it up out of remarkable respect for Prince Philip. Your voice has gone really funny. It's the microphone. Give it a tap.
Hello?
Give it a blow. That might cure it. But yeah, crop circles. In fact, I think that sounds better. We'll have to do a show on crop circles one day because some of them are beautiful. Some of them just look like Taylor's been messing about in the back garden with a piece of wood. Let's have a look at this one.
The proper field.
I know. I remember when you used to make crop circles and you come back and go, oh, I've got a crop circle, Rebecca. There was a guy who was paid to fly some people to a place that went over a field and there was no sign of crop circle. When the pilot returned half an hour later, a crop circle was seen in this particular field. The claim was that it was that detailed. It would have taken 400 people to do it in that time scale. That's what I'm on about. It's those ones. I think there's something in it. But you've also got to admit there's a load that appear overnight that, yeah, mate, all right, I'm sure, you know.
It's
Anyway,
illegal to make crop circles.
it's ruining the farmers' crops, isn't it?
Yeah. So if you think about it, if 400 people are going to make a crop circle in half an hour and ruin that much crop, that's not going to happen.
Well, that means they did a bit of a crap job for making a crop circle. Right.
Hello.
Hello. Oh, he did a mini documentary about it. There you go. Right. Now, where were we? Mysterious voices. This is number 5. Again, I'm sure we've had this on a previous show. In 2015, 25-year-old Jennifer Grosbeck was driving home with her 18-month-old toddler, Lily, when her car hit a cement barrier and crashed upside down in a river. A fisherman spotted the wreck in the water 14 hours later and immediately alerted the police. Officer Tyler Beddoes was one of the first to arrive at the scene, and he spotted an arm through the window of the submerged car. He and 3 of his colleagues...
Keep reading in case it's...
He and 3 of his colleagues immediately jumped into the water to see if they could find survivors. At this point, all 4 of them heard a woman's voice calling out to them. Feeling extremely motivated by the chance to save her life, the men pushed themselves to get to the car, only to find that Jennifer Grosbeck was dead and had been for some time. Lily was hanging upside down, fortunately out of reach of the freezing water. The officers initially didn't see her, but as soon as they were able to turn the car right side up, they saw the little girl and immediately got her out of the vehicle. She was unconscious, but her eyelids were fluttering, giving hope that she might make it still out alive. She survived after being rushed to the hospital. The police officers to this day don't know where the mysterious voice came from, but they credit it with motivating them to get into the water faster, which may have saved baby Lily's life. You reckon that was the mum?
So good.
Sorry?
I said, that's so cute.
I thought you turned into Scooby-Doo then. Oinks? Raggy?
Who?
Oh, there's Scooby-Doo. Miniature.
Obi.
What do you think of chat
He's
room?
asking to ask me the secret. I love that story. I mean, I don't love it, but I'd like to believe that that's true.
I think there's a grain of truth in it. We did a show about 3 years ago on Hello Obi on crisis apparitions, and it's exactly the same sort of thing. The majority of crisis apparitions appeared during the First and Second World War, when soldiers were on the cusp of either being blown to bits or escaping with themselves intact. And it was at that time where they were in such turmoil and they just wanted to be in a certain place at a certain time, and they'd appear to like their mothers or their sweethearts or whatever and just say, you know, love you and stuff like that. I think it's possibly the same sort of thing. The mother's spirit hung on until rescuers got there. So
that's crazy that someone smaller than Harper can be hanging upside down for 14 hours, maybe even more, because they had to flip the car and survive.
Exactly. There's something to that. Watch Fact or Fiction Beyond Belief on Amazon Prime, full of weird and wonderful stories like that. Fact or Fiction. I think we've seen a few of them as well. I think there's something to be said for that one. I think there's quite a few stories very similar where I believe there's something there. What about you? Okay, so do you want to do Don Decker and the Devil? The thing is, my father's name was Don as well. He was Little Irish. Yeah, Finley is named after his granddad, his great granddad. Go on.
This is called Don Decker and the Devil.
Jesus.
In 1983, inmate Don Decker was on compassionate leave to attend his grandfather's funeral and was staying with friends in Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania.
Hang on.
Villa?
Stroudsburg. Pennsylvania, yeah. Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania.
Decker was washing his hands in an upstairs bathroom one evening when he suddenly became dazed and fell to the floor. When he came downstairs after the incident, Bob Kiffer asked him what had happened to him, since he had deep scratches on his wrists. Decker told him about collapsing on the floor. I'm not going to pronounce his name because I don't want to pronounce.
It's all right.
It sounds like a rude word.
Where are we up to? Decker told
Second paragraph, 3 lines down.
Second paragraph, 3 lines. And he came downstairs after the incident. Bob Kiefer. It's Kiefer, not what you're thinking. It's Kiefer.
Kiefer. Sorry, I'm sorry.
You're really not with it today, are you? You thought that was a nasty South African word, didn't you? No, that's Kaffa. That's Kiefer, as in Kiefer Sutherland.
Okay, I'm sorry. About collapsing in the bathroom floor, and claimed to have had a vision of an old man wearing what appeared to be a crown. Not long after this, water started dripping from the roof and the walls. Kiefer called his landlord, thinking that the pipes of the property may have burst or been leaking somewhere. However, they realized that the pipes were located on the other side of the house and were not faulty. At this point, the water inside the house was falling down like rain, as well as leaking upwards from the floor.
Oh.
Stop. Glancing at Decker, the two men saw that he seemed to be in a trance-like state, and then immediately called the police. Things got progressively worse after they made the phone call, with Decker levitating off the floor and being flung around the room and against the wall, all while new scratches appeared on his body. Officer John. Officer John.
Bougen, I think.
And Officer Richard arrived at the house, but when Officer John believed something paranormal was happening, Officer Richard was not convinced and left the house without filing a report. The next day, 2 different officers defied Officer Richard's orders and visited the house to see if they could figure out what was happening. William Davies and John Rundle claimed to have witnessed a gold cross burning Deckard's skin, as well as the man being lifted off the ground and thrown across the room. While Deckard was taken back to prison, some of the police officers on duty described water travelling up his cell and water with the consistency of silicone appearing on the supervisor's shirt. A plumber was summoned to the police station, but he became visibly upset and left right away after seeing what was happening inside Deckard's cell. Most of the officers are fully convinced that Deckard was possessed by the devil, giving him supernatural powers.
Ooh.
There are way too many witnesses,
yeah,
and credible people to say that's not real.
Yeah. By the way, that Officer Richard, his surname was Walbert. Richard Walbert. I'd say there's something in that, and the fact that normally you'll find it when you've got police giving statements. If there's 2, you've normally got one who'll give a statement and one who's like, nah, I didn't see anything, didn't hear anything. When they did, but their rational side is just too, can't deal with it. Or they're God-fearing and they're like, I ain't had nothing to do with that shit. So, because it's got so many police witnesses, I think there may have been something going on there. Wayne has said too many witnesses as well. Fact or faked?
I like fact or fiction.
I do. There used to be one on TV that had that really annoying bloke with the fucking stupid beard. Do you remember? His beard was all underneath here and a little silly stripy bit there. Do you remember?
Yeah, like the one that was filmed in like 90s.
Yeah. And it's got the ex-FBI guy in it. And they used to do
fact or fiction, I'm pretty sure that you're talking about.
they used to have some stuff that was clearly what it's seen, but they do all these experiments to try and poo-poo them. But some of the experiments, you're just like, oh. But are you all right? You having a poo there? Jonathan Frakes. Yeah, that's right. It's not the one I'm thinking about with the guy with the really dodgy beard. I know the one you're on about, Wayne. Yeah, Jonathan Frakes. Taylor May. Are you with us today?
Dad was asking who you were.
Sorry?
Sheldon was asking who you were.
Who I am? I'm going to be his father-in-law one day. Hello, Mrs. Wayne. Oh, God, that means he's going to be my son-in-law with purple hair in the army. Yeah. Okay. I'm fine with that.
Oh, come and show him your hair.
Right, let's go. Oh, funny enough, Wayne and I were talking about this the other day. One of my favourites, it's the Joker. You've got to get the laugh right. If you're going to be the Joker or the Riddler or something, you've got to get the laugh right. So,
The Joker's green.
Oh, Jesus, and there's the other scary one.
Calvin.
That was his brother Calvin, as in chipmunks.
That's Alvin.
I know he was named after Calvin and Hobbes.
Shut the door.
So shall we get on? Daughter of mine. If you're going to hit them with a dog, just do it, or hit them with a sofa, just do it. But get back to this.
Back on them.
Okay, number 3, the Rendlesham Forest incident. Wayne and I were talking about this only the other day, and it's one of my favourites. So, in the week between Christmas and New Year's Eve in 1980, that's the year Linz was born. Christ, I was 8 years old. That makes me feel like a right old pervert. James Penniston witnessed something strange in Rendlesham Forest while stationed at RAF Bentwaters. It wasn't just Penniston. There was several people, and there was reports of aliens being there as well. Penniston was a senior security officer in charge at RAF Woodbridge. The police team called out to investigate an aircraft crash in the forest after unexplained lights were reported. What he and 2 other officers found was nothing resembling a traditional aircraft. Instead, they found themselves faced with an unfamiliar craft resting on the ground on 3 legs. Sure, it wasn't a dwarf with a Christ, he's a tripod!
Mark.
The craft was triangular in shape and fully intact. Ha ha ha. What happened next, as described by the men, was nothing short of paranormal. Penniston wrote up on an official report containing claims that their radios malfunctioned in the presence of the strange craft. Blue and yellow lights were reflecting off its surface, and the air surrounding the craft crackled with electricity. And if I remember rightly, there was a load of hieroglyphs down the bottom of the craft as well, or weird hieroglyph pentagrams, whatever you want to call them. After making notes of the symbols on the side of the craft and measuring its size, the lights coming off the sides of the craft's surface intensified. It then lifted soundlessly off the ground, made its way through the forest, and sped away at incredible speed. At this point, there were more than 80 police officers at the site, all of whom witnessed the craft and its takeoff. After the incident was reported, all personnel present at the site were warned not to discuss what they had seen, and the investigation was classified as top secret. Now, one of the things that got me with this,
Your
If you
Wi-Fi's
had-
really bad.
credible witnesses. Sorry? Yours or mine?
Yours, I think.
Actually, I think it's my end. Yeah, the signal's gone blue. So I don't quite know why the signal's dropped. Yeah, there was lots and lots of credible witnesses to the Rendlesham Forest incident. 2 of them in particular have got health problems ongoing from the radiation that came off the craft. And after the credible witnesses came out, there were several people suddenly appeared from nowhere and said, no, you saw the lighthouse's lights, a now defunct lighthouse. It no longer works. And the lighthouse was, if I remember rightly, 4.5 miles away, 4 miles, something like that. and they all reckon that it was this bloody lighthouse that they saw. I've been on top of a cliff when a lighthouse has been going around, and seeing the light is one thing, but seeing a craft right in front of you lift off the ground and bugger off is a totally different matter. And the fact that there's 80 odd people all saw this, and okay, are you all right there? There's even there was a specialist security guy there who witnessed the head of the USAF in Europe, I think it was at the time, was flown over especially this craft, and there were 3 lights that appeared, and apparently aliens appeared out of these lights. Sorry, I am the alien guy. Aliens appeared. So, and he still goes on record to this day and says that he saw these aliens. Yeah, and as Wayne said, he's been there. There isn't any way they saw a lighthouse from where the USAF were. There's only one point in Rendlesham Forest where you can see what used to be able to see that light, and it wasn't where the alleged craft was seen. It was a little bit away, about 100 or so yards away. It wasn't where this craft was, and it's seeing a light coming through and shining up briefly and then disappearing again is a lot different from having a bloody thing in front of you, shining lights, take off and fly off. So it's amazing how when all these things happen, you suddenly get these people out of nowhere. Oh no, what they saw is this, or it was a weather balloon, or it was marsh gas, or it's this. Bollocks, mate. There's a lot of things that have actually happened out there, and we've all got to the point. I think we're all fed up with the government trying to cover it all up and say it was this, it was that. No, majority of stuff that can't be explained was real phenomena. Stop with the cover-ups. It's pointless these days because we all just want to hear the truth. I've got off my soapbox now. Taylor, what you can do? Number 2, the Indiana Demon House.
I can hear myself through your speakers.
Well, it's all turned down. Indiana Demon House. Chop chop.
By the way, when I jumped, it's because I was looking at the photo that's attached to this demon house, and Sheldon snuck this door open and went, "Taylor."
Come on.
In 2014, a police captain corroborated. You say so.
Corroborate.
A story of a haunted house in Gary, I almost said Gravy, Indiana, saying that he firmly believed that the house
In
held
Gravy, Indiana.
Gravy, Indiana. Nah, it's in the Susan. The mother, Latona Ammons, and the grandmother, Rosa Campbell,
Latoya Ammons and Rosa Campbell,
claimed Ammon's 3 children were possessed by evil entities that were causing them to levitate.
I remember this one, yeah.
Well, it just them being naughty kids and trying to scare them.
Read the story first.
Levitate and walk backwards up a wall. Claims were also made of mysterious footprints appearing through the house, and eventually a photograph above, it's just a photo of the house, emerged showing a figure inside the house's porch. If you look at the photo, no.
I don't think it is. I'll put the photo in the chat room if I can.
This photograph was distributed by the local police department with a note that the house was empty at the time the picture was taken. The picture has later proven to be a hoax photograph taken from an app. This did not deter several people, including the police captain, priests, and social workers, from insisting that demons roamed the house. Psychics descended on the house and claims that it was inhabited by more than 200 demons, all of whom were possessing the 3 children who lived there. The possession allegedly caused the kids' eyes to bulge out of their heads, their voices to deepen, and even evil smiles to come across their face.
For normal
So they went.
teenagers. Sorry, do that again.
A family doctor was not convinced, however, saying that the children were displaying delusional behavior encouraged by their mother. The children were taken away for a short while, but the family has been reunited and are now living in another house. They haven't reported any paranormal activity since. The demon house was destroyed in January 2016 after it was purchased by Zach of course.
Yeah.
Zach
It had to be
Baggins,
Mr. Mulbag.
executive producer of
I mean,
both
Baggins.
adventures. I didn't say anything about that personally. This Devil's Peak incident looks like it inspired Stephen King's Bird.
We'll get to number one in a second. All I will say is Zach Baggins. That's all I need to say.
He seems to have calmed down now. But
I hope so, because he was such an arrogant little toe rag. I used to like watching Ghost Adventures, and then he got so rude and obnoxious towards spirits.
Do you remember I was watching that one episode where he shouted at his friend next to him, and I was like, can't watch this.
No. And you know yourselves, anybody's worth their salt when you go on investigations. You don't do that. You're not rude. You're not offhand. You have respect, even if it's whatever you think it is. Even if you believe in demons and you think it's that, whatever. Have a bit of respect. Don't act like a jerk. And that's my thing with him. He's so rude and obnoxious when he's talking to spirits, and you shouldn't do it.
I don't think he is anymore. However, I would dare say he was more than a jerk. I'd say he was a dickhead.
I think there'd be a lot of people who probably agree with you there, young Padawan. So all I'll say is that house was bought by Zach. All I'll say is that house was bought by Zach Baggins, and I can remember there was a big hoo-ha about it. And I think, if memory serves me right, it was something to do with they wanted to move out and get a new house, but they couldn't. So that was made it. So yeah, it was a bit of flim-flam. Don't quote me on that, because it's just things that I remember. Thank you. But yeah, no. That's a duff moment. Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry, Zach Baggins. No. Lost all credibility for me, that guy. Long time ago. Right. Sorry?
My dinner's there.
Your dinner's there. Would you like me to read number one out?
You want to see what I got for dinner? I want to show you.
Well, whilst we wait for Taylor to get her paranormal dinner, I'll read out number one.
I got beef chow mein. And I got half a chicken burger.
Beef chow. It's a strange mixture. Beef chow mein and half chicken burger. Okay. Right, number one on paranormal events that have got witnesses. The Devil's Peak incident. Quite a few of you guys might have heard of this. Maurice Frenchy Theroux had a difficult childhood after suffering abuse at the hands of his father and witnessing a terrible event in his family barn. The event has never been fully explained, but it is known that Frenchy had to participate in horrible acts after witnessing the unnamed event. As he grew older, Frenchy noticed strange abilities within himself, such as knowledge of things he had never learned about and superhuman strength. He was deterred from joining the army by his father, causing him to leave the house and eventually settle in Warren, Massachusetts. By 1985, Frenchy had married, and he and his wife lived on a farm in Warren. But all was not well in the Theroux household, and not only would blood appear randomly all over the house, nice, but the couple began hearing voices and seeing things that would disappear without explanation. Unexplained fires broke out on the farm, and eventually Frenchy took his guns to the local sheriff and asked him to keep them for the safety of himself and his wife. The event continued. Frenchie would be in one room of the house, but then appear to his wife in another room. Trying to talk to him or follow him would result in him disappearing from her view, and she would find him in the original room where he swore he'd been there all along. Several witnesses saw this happening, including a police officer from the local station. Eventually, Ed and Lorraine Warren, those from Enfield, were called in to assist, and in turn, they sought the help of Bishop Robert McKenna. Robert McKenna? Maybe related to Paul McKenna. They called this bishop in to perform an exorcism on Frenchie. Ed Warren almost died during the exorcism, but it was successful at the end. Frenchie's troubles continued, however, and he was eventually arrested for sexual abuse of a minor.
So, probably it was, it kind of sounds like it, but I think that's sexual abuse of a minor. I reckon that is learnt behaviour from what his dad could have done to him.
These events in the barn that he was witness to, yeah, I was thinking that myself. Because normally you find that with people who were abusers, they were abused when they were younger. I've seen a few things about this, and again, there's something quite credible there in regards to the teleportation stuff. And I think there was a few witnesses saw the random blood splashings everywhere as well. So again, there's police witnesses to it who swear that this, that, and the other happened. So I think there's possibly something there. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it sounds very possible. Sounds very possible. And there is a police witness, so that is, you can be considered credible. However, randomly starting fires and abuse of a minor are both things that you would expect someone with his upbringing to do.
Well, apparently these fires, some of them were started when this guy was sat in a particular room talking to somebody, and these fires would start elsewhere on the farm where he wasn't involved. So whether it's telekinesis or something, I don't know. But I think anything that's got reliable police witnesses in it, I think there's always something to be said there. That one before then, about the house where the kids were seen crawling up the walls and this, that, and the other, that was bought by Mrs. Baggins. No. 200 demons haunting get out of it. And that's another thing that winds me up with a lot of paranormal investigators. They put everything down to demons. Not everything that happens is a demon or a ghosty or a ghoulie. Like saying that an orb is an orb when 9 times out of 10 it's either dust or an insect, or something else like that. Not everything is a spiritual orb. It's like when you go on investigations. 99.9% of the time you go on an investigation, not a lot happens. It's just lucky that out of all the ones we've been on, there's pretty much nearly everyone I've been on, there's always been something happening. But not everyone you go. You can go to one place and the only thing you'll catch is a cold. So yeah. And I will leave it at that, because otherwise I'll start going on about that one that was in that number 2. Oh. So we will be back next Friday with Mr. Wayne and myself, and we'll be going into more of the hijinks in space with aliens and spacecraft and God knows what else that's been going on. And then we'll be back next week on Friday with the Dark Mirror Radio Show, talking about aliens and and spacecraft and weird and wonderful space missions with Mr. Wayne and myself. And of course, we'll be back next Sunday again with the Rearview Mirror Show, and we'll be talking about paranormal events that are linked to mass tragedies. Tragedy! Bad taste. So yeah, if you want us to, if you've got any questions you want us to answer or ask, don't be afraid to leave it something on our Facebook wall, the Dark Mirror Radio Show, because both these shows go out on the Dark Mirror Radio Show Facebook wall, and they're out there on YouTube in YouTube land. So ask us any questions you like, and if we get them, we'll try and ask them for you. Just don't ask me about Zap Baggins. And on that note, I will let Taylorius Maylorius, my beautiful youngest daughter, go and eat her dinner. So I shall say bye-bye from her.
Bye-bye.
Tickle, 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 tickle. And it's goodbye from me, and I will.
You really can't get that it's flipped, can you?
I just can't do it. I can't do it. I keep doing it everywhere, and I bugger it up every time. Right. I'll see you later, young lady, and everybody else. Thank you for listening and watching, and thank you for watching on YouTube. And we'll see you on Friday.
I just want to say to everyone, hello, everyone. Even though things are starting to open back up, you still have to be very cautious because there's still a disease out. Be cautious.
She's saying be COVID safe, everybody. So, and I'll see you guys on Friday with Mr. Wayne. Thank you all for being in the chat room and watching and listening. And it is bye-bye. So say bye-bye, everybody.
Oh, Nightwing.
Say bye-bye. Good to go. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye, everybody.